Libra, in September, you're going to feel a bit distant. You're going to feel at least somewhat, if not fully disconnected. And that can vary from, moment to moment, commitment to commitment. But it feels like this is a time where you're feeling like things are changing for you for the better within and outside of you, as I stutter today. But I do want to say that people are looking at you in a different light, and it doesn't always feel super comfortable. And it's like at this time, before we jump into some time travel or oracle, it's like spirits are trying to help you step out of your comfort zone. You're very easily kept, or you keep yourself within some level of comfort so that you can feel safe, right? So that you don't repeat the past or as much, so that you don't maybe give in to bad temptation or something of the sort for somebody. Whether this rings true for you or not, there's a comfort zone that we each need to, as Librans, step out of throughout September. And you don't understand fully that this is preparing you for a huge leap of faith in the future. Regardless of what kind it is for you individually, you're going to feel like there's so much that you're being guided towards where you'll feel fulfilled more than ever. You'll feel, okay, the removal of a void is what I'm hearing for a lot of you. You're going to feel like there's just alignment starting to boil under the surface when it comes to that leap of faith, while naturally the lack of alignment or even the imperfections, maybe the bad energy of what's at hand for you now, it just all starts to become, so obvious to you. And that can be a bit uncomfortable, again, disheartening, annoying, frustrating. But they're saying, at the end of the day, Libra, you are a passionate soul. You're not a frustrated soul. And so remember that at times things have been too difficult. Spirits have made you feel and come off and be perceived as a frustrated, annoyed soul. I really feel at the root of things, you're more grounded and easygoing than people seem to think. But then there's like a very analytical side of you that's coming out too. I'm hearing play, where maybe you're more heartfelt, you're more intuitive these days. And I see that being very, very important for you. But it's like maybe because you have a lot of analytical energies around you, with you at the time. But it's like you start to think about things and approach things very, very strategically in this way, or these ways. And then they're saying you can have it all, right? Whenever you need to have a different approach, a different mindset, a different feeling, if not multiple, you've got it, all right? But let's pull a couple cards for Libra. I'm going to pull right from the middle. The stillness card. So it may feel like you're at a bit of a standstill, but there's an importance in regards to this Libran collective stopping, maybe smelling the roses, noticing both the positives and the negatives, the likes and the dislikes. But so now what I'm getting, Libra, is that when you choose to stop, right, when you choose to be still for a hot second, the way you process things is more on point. It's more beneficial for you. The way you then approach whatever it is after the fact, or even later on down the line, that ends up being so much more effective for you. And so I even feel like spirits are saying, when you're in this kind of go, go, go mode, when you're on the move 24/7, or you're just always trying to figure things out, you're not as easy to get through to. And so spirits really want you to understand these things, remember these things, so that we can get through to you. I'm hearing tenfold. But vast vistas coming out as well, because it's a time period as well throughout September where you are being pushed to look to the horizon with such optimism, to the point where you can't help but feel like things are going to just turn out fantastic times a million. And it's like you're being so watched over right now, to the point where you can even take a slight risk, although I don't see you actually doing so or even wanting to. They're saying it's kind of good that you want to play it safe, but you don't want to settle all the meanwhile. You may as well see random things like shapes of importance in the clouds. Your dreams are going to be so vivid. And I'm going to be completely real with you, at least some of which feel to be completely rude. You know, it's like false scenarios being made up to paint you in a negative light, to make you feel a certain way. But either way, I feel you to be such a strong spiritual soul that I don't see it getting to you, right? It's like, I've dealt with so much worse. And that's kind of your energy as well. People look at you and they think, what in the world does life put Libra through? Because you're coming off tired. You're coming off more alive than previously, maybe less out of it than recently. But the tired energy, the I've been through a lot energy, really is speaking wonders. And what you're not remembering in certain moments, especially in moments where people feel the need to stare or just judge you in general, is that other people are very, very exhausted and they're going through and have been through a lot as well. Maybe not as much as you. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. But either way, as my throat goes dry, you are being seen in this light. Just to be completely real with you. But you're also being seen as somebody who really chooses to strive for improvement. Where you feel your skin complexion hasn't been perfect, I see that improving by the end of the month. Some of you are going to get back to working out, or maybe work out more or differently, and this is going to leave you looking so damn fine. It's almost as if spirits are trying to polish up your appearance. One second. I almost missed my mouth there. But yeah, they're polishing you up in a bit so that you can step into the spotlight more and feel the way you're meant to feel, to be perceived in the way you're meant to be perceived. Because it is a time period where people are staring, all right? People are noticing you. And you're going to feel like, I can now better understand this. I can now better approach and accomplish this. I feel less spiritually messed with, but it's still kind of coming to be at certain points. And that in and of itself needs to come to a rest. A lot of you are thinking about, fantasizing about a move of residence, maybe even preparing for it. And this move of residence is going to be huge for you, but it's a very, very spiritual spot. All right. I'm getting, for somebody specifically in the state I'm living in currently, California, and I'm hearing also Arizona and Texas. It doesn't have to be in the States, but I just heard England is very spooky. Anyways, let's pull some tarot. It's going to feel like the answers are very easily given to you at this time because you have struggled to acquire them in the past. You're going to feel like Spirit says it doesn't have to be that difficult, right? Here's the answer. Here's the solution. You've been doing something or trying to solve something or clean this and that up the same way over and over and over. And we don't blame you. That's kind of how you were taught or you taught yourself. And now it's time to rewire in a sense and, you know, create, accomplish, solve, clean up once again, easily, without a doubt. It feels like things are going to just kind of happen and Spirit has a lot to do with this. I want to say as well, you're going to think a lot about open spaces. You know, where I'm living here in Bakersfield, California, there's a lot of open fields. It's kind of a drag, you know, but hey, some people love it. But it's like you're needing to look out into the distance with all of this open space. Make it come through a vision, a dream, you know, maybe something about you watching like a social media post that kind of gives you this. But for some of you like myself, you could absolutely find this in your physical reality. But again, there's something about you looking out to the distance. I'm getting it from the Vast Vistas card again. With all that open space, because they're saying, you know, the world is your oyster, right? You need that space to kind of envision, you know, the best. And I keep hearing, you know best for yourself, Libra, so trust that. But there's a lot of contemplating taking place that doesn't need to, and it shouldn't go too far. So put your foot on the brake when you, while knowing yourself best, when you feel that about to go too far. So what else do we have for Libra? You're going to feel, as the Six of Swords balances on my hand, like it's time to step away from a situation early, or just in general. It's because you feel energy, Libra, and the energy is just, it's bad, right? Or it's off. But the Hermit card coming out, as well as the Eight of Swords in the upright, Because I feel like you, in your alone time, think a bit too much about where you feel restricted, what has been holding you back. And then all the meanwhile, you find yourself, restricting yourself. And so I even feel like, to an extent, there's certain moments throughout September where you are feeling less restricted, because it's more at this time about what you do with what's at hand rather than, what is limiting you, how it's limiting you. Does that make sense? You can make the best out of what's at hand to the point where it gets you ready to shift so fast on forward towards what you deserve. There's a bit of projecting taking place is now what I'm getting, and I don't feel it's you. It could be a boss figure, it could be, somebody you're living with, it could be your significant other, or maybe family. There's more than a little bit of projecting happening. And yeah, it's just like a lot of judgment. But I think it's interesting, throughout September, spirits are observing this very, very often. Who seems to be taken to you? You don't at times think that certain types of energies will end up wanting to befriend you or trust you, provide you with all of these updates and stories and whatnot. And then they do. And so Spirit's saying you're the type of soul, especially at this point, where wow, let me try that again. A diverse amount of energy, different types of energies will feel very much related to you, drawn to you, connected to you. Damn, that was a struggle. But the Ace of Swords coming out because, Libra, you're about to gain an immense amount of clarity to help you prepare to shoot your bow and arrow and hit a bullseye, all right? That's how it's going to feel. The Five of Wands at times talks about bad energy, maybe even conflict in the air. But at times, Spirit's saying it's not yours to deal with. Just be the non-confrontational, grounded, peaceful, passionate soul that you truly are, and all will work itself out. But look at this. Let's begin to wrap up your reading by saying, Libra, your cup is about to overflow. You will be discovering certain pearls of wisdom and benefit otherwise that will start to help you build things more efficiently and help you propel forward. I really feel like things are about to fall into place for you, Libra, and that is where we're going to leave your reading at, okay? So I hope it was truly helpful. Love and light.